entry-level staff are no longer useful and needed is also being challenged.
There's been a growing anxiety that AI would affect salaries, would affect employment, especially for those who are still studying and not quite ready to pick up the relevant skills in the workplace that universities haven't picked up on themselves. So are there any red lines, are there any tripwires that will cause the government to have a more proactive role in making sure that salaries and employment wouldn't dip too much?
It is a very important question and a very valid concern. We know from studies that were done in the past, for example, if a person graduates into a very soft employment market, the implications for that cohort, for those individuals, is actually quite long-lasting. It's not, after the downturn, the upturn comes, and then everything is hunky-dory again. There is always the risk, and there's the potential that you have some scarring, because in the most formative years, you didn't get all the opportunities that you could have had in order to build up your skill set. So it's definitely the government's intention not to allow this to happen. Now, what have we done in the past that could sort of signpost, possible interventions? Of course, I'm not saying that we are going to introduce these interventions just yet, because the situation is quite dynamic, it is quite fluid. But just to signpost what we were able to do in past occasions where there was a concern about graduate employment. During COVID, for example, we came up with the SG United a scheme where trainees, we helped them to acquire this initial start to their careers. And the government came in, generous support towards the employers. The idea that entry-level staff are no longer useful and needed is also being challenged. I have, for example, spoken with very senior people, even for software engineering. And they tell me something quite interesting. The AI definitely improved your productivity in getting the proof of concept, but the integration, you got stuck. So until organizations find ways of dealing with the new bottleneck, the flow-through of the impact is not there, and so the feared consequence that suddenly all these software engineers, nothing to do, is also not materialized.